Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are jumping right into a really fascinating paradigm-shifting perspective on something we literally interact with every single day. We're unpacking Rafael D. Kasischke's text, The New Teaching on Life and Money. And I'll tell you right now, this is absolutely not your standard run-of-the-mill financial advice. What we're looking at here is a deep, spiritual reframing of economics and how we connect with our wealth.
So let's kick things off with a pretty direct, introspective question that the author actually poses right at the very beginning of the source material. Are you truly happy with your life? It's a bold way to open a discussion about finances, right? But the author makes a compelling point. He argues that if you're feeling this underlying dissatisfaction, even if your bank balance looks great, you are definitely not alone. He suggests that a lot of people feel completely empty, precisely because their lives are built almost entirely around money and material things, rather than a solid, balanced inner foundation.
You see, he proposes that this modern sense of emptiness we see everywhere really stems from a cultural obsession with greed, hoarding, and just stockpiling external possessions. Instead, we should be cultivating inner wealth. The text defines this true wealth as recognizing the inherent dignity and values of the individual. We're talking about things like honesty, compassion, and respect. Kasischke points out that this inner wealth doesn't depend on external factors at all. You literally can't lose it if the stock market takes a dive. And the kicker here is, without this inner gold, any external gold you accumulate is ultimately just going to leave you feeling hollow.
Section 1. The blocked flow of money. Let's look at how our financial and emotional energy actually gets stuck in the first place.
The book sets up this brilliant central contrast, mapping out a shift from an old way of thinking to a radically new one. It ties the old paradigm to the left brain, hyper-rational, driven completely by the ego, and focused on hoarding money out of a deep-seated fear and a scarcity mindset. But the new paradigm, that's mapped to the right brain and the soul. It's about money flowing continuously, driven by intuition and, believe it or not, love. The author strongly believes our current economic unhappiness happens because these two sides are just completely out of balance.
Well, what does being trapped in that old paradigm actually look like in real life? The text outlines some pretty stark symptoms. We're talking about folks feeling a profound emptiness, despite sitting on massive wealth, or treating the stock market like a giant casino, basically just gambling for the thrill of the chase. It shows up as ignoring your family for relentless work, or prioritizing corporate profit margins way over human well-being, and ultimately, it leads straight to burnout and physical illness. When money is the sole focus, the text argues, our life energy just stagnates.
Section 2. Money as flowing energy. To fix these symptoms, the author completely redefines what wealth even is.
So, according to the text, we have to stop looking at money as this dead, lifeless object. The author notes something really interesting. In Germany, people often use the slang word Kohle for money, which literally translates to coal. Think about that. Something cold, hard, meant to be locked away in a dark vault. Instead, he says we absolutely must recognize money as a living, spiritual energy. It's an immaterial force that literally has to circulate to generate health, joy, and true abundance. Think of it kind of like blood in the human body. If it stops flowing, the whole system gets sick.
He builds a really powerful metaphor here, drawing a direct parallel between the natural cycle of plants and the cycle of our lives and finances. Just like a plant in nature needs a continuous flow of water and nutrients from the soil to grow, bloom, and eventually return to the earth, our lives require a continuous, heart-centered flow of money to actually thrive. We invest our innate talents, we earn money, we infuse it with our heart through conscious choices, and ultimately, we leave it behind for the next generation.
Section 3. Healing family karma. This brings us to a crucial question. Why might we be unconsciously blocking this healthy flow?
The author introduces a highly spiritual framework here, arguing that financial trauma and unethically sourced money actually pass down through the generations, almost like DNA. For instance, he shares a wild anecdote from the source material about a family that lost a massive $100 million inheritance in the Dominican Republic through sudden legal battles and unexpected illnesses. He attributes this to the fact that the original wealth was not generated ethically or handled with love. So great-grandparents might generate unethical wealth, the grandparents develop a scarcity mindset, the parents inherit and pass on that fear, which leaves us, right now, as the generation required to consciously break this chain.
Okay, so how do we stop passing this blocked energy down to our kids? The text gives us a clear path. First, we have to honestly acknowledge our ancestors' actions and face how the family money was truly made. Next up, deep forgiveness. We have to forgive ourselves and our parents for any financial missteps or lack of love. And finally, the action step. We must intentionally redirect a portion of our current wealth as a healing tool to resolve that karmic debt. The author essentially describes this as using money to buy back our soul. Section 4. A marriage proposal to money. To fully break the chain, we're asked to forge a highly intimate bond with our finances. Injecting a bit of warmth and playfulness into these heavy spiritual ideas, Kashishki suggests actually writing a literal love letter and proposal to your money. The text reads, "Dear money, I have not taken you seriously. I have cheated on you, but now I have realized that I love you, and therefore I am proposing to you." The whole idea here is to apologize for past misuse, for hoarding it out of fear or maybe blowing it irresponsibly, and to promise a respectful, equal partnership from this day forward.
By metaphorically marrying our money, treating it like a truly cherished partner rather than just a tool to feed our ego, we strip away all that anxiety. The author argues that when you do this, you invite a joyous, supportive relationship into your life. You stop chasing wealth desperately, and instead, it naturally wants to stay with you and work alongside you.
And what happens in a healthy marriage? Well, the author says it produces what he whimsically calls money babies. I love that term. These are the new ethical yields and profits that are born out of this loving relationship with wealth. Instead of dirty money generated through exploitation, these money babies are raised and educated to avoid corruption. We nurture them with good intentions, and then we send them out into the broader world specifically to heal humanity and support the planet. Section 5. Conscious Investing and the Global Fund. This is where we get into the real-world application of this entire philosophy.
So how do we send these money babies out into the world? The book envisions a massive global fund that functions like a flourishing money tree. It's all about planting our wealth in joyful, meaningful soil so it can actually serve the planet. This fund would actively work to balance male and female energies, which the author maps to money and love, by investing exclusively in projects that are fundamentally good for humanity, making sure the tree bears healthy fruit for absolutely everyone.
What do these investments look like in practice? Well, instead of endless corporate expansion or prioritizing shareholder returns at all costs, the author challenges massive companies and individual investors to redirect their funds into what he calls heart-centered projects. We're talking about the foundational stuff humans actually need: schools that teach real-life skills, holistic health centers, organic agriculture to heal the Earth's soil, clean water initiatives, and renewable energy. This, he argues, is how money truly serves its absolute highest purpose. So, as we wrap up this explainer on Rafael Kashishka's teachings, the ultimate takeaway comes down to your personal action. What projects will your heart invest in? Take a second today to really think about where your energy and your money is flowing. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and we will catch you on the next one.